Hi, I'm Sadie, and I share practical advice for applying the concepts of alchemy, mysticism, and hermeticism to your life. So, if you're interested in any of those topics, you've come to the right place. So, today I want to talk about the law of cause and effect. This is one of the 7 Hermetic principles that's found in Hermetic philosophy. This principle can be found in the Kybalion, which is a cornerstone book to studying Hermetic philosophy. I want to read to you a quote from the Kybalion that goes over the principle of cause and effect. It states, "Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law." This law explains that nothing happens just as a mere coincidence. Have you ever had that feeling where it just felt like a coincidence? You noticed the patterns that led up to that moment, and it just seemed like there was something else at play. This principle explains in depth about the universal law that nothing is a coincidence and that everything happens for a reason. Let me tell you a story about my experience with this. About 3 or 4 years ago, my dad had told me about this book series that immediately fascinated me. He spoke of the book saying it articulates the journey of a group of researchers who traveled to the Himalayas to gain a first-person perspective into the life of masters. The main thing that stuck with me is that the masters could perform acts in which we would only attribute to sci-fi movies. It seemed as if these masters had somehow obtained superhuman abilities. One such act being the fact that they could grow corn in an instant. Over the years, the topic had come up in conversation multiple times. Never once was the name of the book recalled, nor were we able to find it looking online. Fast forward to about 6 months ago when I was coming back from the hot springs, and we stopped at this little hole-in-the-wall thrift store. We were looking around and I saw the spine of these books facing out, and it said Life and Teaching, and something drew me to them, so I went and grabbed it, pulled it out, and just started looking through the pages, and turns out it was the exact book that my dad had told me about so many years ago. This book is called Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East. Turns out the thrift store had purchased an abandoned semi-trailer that was full of books and had been locked for 30 years. I found many great books that day to add to my collection. This experience was definitely one of those moments that felt like a coincidence. But I did feel like I was meant to find those books. To me, these masters exhibit very similar traits as seen in the life of Jesus. So I want to read to you a passage from the book that I found at the thrift store, Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East, that explains this a little bit further. It states, "We are fully convinced, and we hope you also will see, that this great master and teacher came to us that we might have a fuller understanding of life here on earth, that all mortal limitations are but man-made, and in no other way should they be interpreted. We know that this greatest of all teachers came to show more fully that the Christ in him, and through him he did his mighty works in the same Christ that lives in you, in me, and in all mankind. That we can, by applying his teachings, do all the works that he did and greater works. We believe that Jesus came to show more fully that God is the one great and only cause of all things, that God is all. I am of the opinion that what Jesus taught came to him as a direct revelation from God, as it is no doubt has come to our great teachers. Are not all things of God, and whatever one human being can do, cannot all do? We believe you will be convinced that God is ever willing and ready to reveal himself to all men as he has revealed himself to Jesus and others. The one requisite necessary is for each one to be willing to let God come forth. We believe with all sincerity that all are created equal, that all men are one man, that the mighty works done by Jesus can and will be done by all. You will see there is nothing mysterious about these works. The mystery is only in man's mortal conception of them. So, with that being said, I have believed this way for a long time. I truly believe that we are able to do all the works that God bestowed upon Jesus. I believe that we have the power of telepathy, telekinesis, all of that sci-fi crap that people think is just fantasy. And I'm not sure how much work it takes, or lack of work, or what have you, or the exact processes that it would take to get there. But I truly do believe that we have the ability to be like Jesus. Anyways, thanks for watching, and check out my website. Peace.